Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. My name is Hilmarie Hutchison. Before we introduce our lovely guest, let me first introduce my co-host, Shirin. Hi, Shirin, and welcome back. Can you tell us who do we have on the show today?
Hi, Hilmarie. Oh, this is yet another important conversation that we are happy to bring to light today. I would like to introduce our guest, Rika Bothra Sinha, who is the owner and the marketing director of Plastfree in the Middle East. Plastfree is a team of women and men from all walks of life united together to create sustainable hygiene products of excellent value for women and our planet. Rika, welcome and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast today.
So, Rika, to start off, we like to ask our guests to please introduce themselves. So can you tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you ended up here in the UAE?
Absolutely. My name is Rika, and I'm the owner of Plastfree MiddleEast, an eco-friendly feminine hygiene brand. I am from India, and I came to Dubai initially in 2009 for my master's. It was a dual city program in Singapore and in Dubai. I went back to join my family business in India, and at the same time, I started my clothing label, as designing and creativity has always been my passion. In 2013, I got married and moved back to Dubai as my husband lives here. And I continued my clothing business here as well. But the logistics of it seemed a little difficult as my entire setup was based in India. I still continue to do pop-ups of my clothing label here during the festive season. And it has always been my dream to start a sustainable business with a focus on women's health. As a mother of a 5-year-old boy, I strongly believe that by using eco-friendly products in our day-to-day life, we can all contribute to a greener planet for our future generations.
Tell us about your business and how Plastfree came to be.
So my father is an entrepreneur himself, and I have seen him build a successful business from scratch. I have always wanted to follow in his footsteps and start my own business. A few years ago, I decided to adopt a more sustainable lifestyle for myself. And I was aiming to reduce the usage of single-use plastic in my day-to-day life. It was during this journey that I discovered that most of the conventional period products that we use are actually made up of plastic. About 90% of it is plastic. There were alternatives available in the market, but I somehow wasn't too satisfied with them. They were either not up to the mark in terms of quality or they were very expensive. I realized there's a dearth in the market for premium feminine hygiene products. That is when I decided to launch Plastfree MiddleEast, which is with an aim to make eco-friendly period products accessible and affordable to all.
Fantastic concept. So can you put into perspective for us the amount of plastic that is used in period products that are made with plastic?
Oh, yes, I absolutely love talking about the statistic. It's such an eye-opener. So like mentioned earlier, a conventional sanitary pad contains 90% plastic. So one sanitary pad is equivalent to using 4 single-use plastic bags.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it is. Now let's look at it from another context. An average woman throws about 200 kgs of menstrual products in her lifetime. And now to put things in perspective, if we consider a single cycle, around 22 items of sanitary products are used per cycle. So over a lifetime, this would amount to somewhere around 10,000 period products used.
Incredible.
Yes. All of this period product, they are plastic, they'll end up in landfills, and they are not biodegradable. They continue to be on Earth for the next 500 to 800 years. So it's baffling.
That is incredible. So walk us through the process of creating the products that you make. Did it take years of research and experimentation?
Even though there were alternatives available in the market that were organic and biodegradable, we were not really satisfied with the quality, the performance, or the packaging of it. Many still came with the wrappers, which were plastic, or the back sheet was plastic. If they were not plastic, then they did not absorb well enough, causing leaks and stains. So this meant if a consumer actually wanted to switch to plastic-free period products, unfortunately, they would not be happy with the performance and quality. So our focus while creating this product was that not only it has to be eco-friendly and biodegradable, but also a quality product that is affordable at the same time. So when we had to make our product, we wanted everything to be plastic free, from the bottom layer, the sticker, the wrapper, the product itself, and the box packaging. Everything is completely biodegradable. And as I was mentioning earlier, a lot of plastic period products take 500 to 800 years to biodegrade. Our products, which would biodegrade in a landfill in warm and humid conditions in just about 2 years. Now, to achieve all of this, we had to do an extensive research. We experimented with lots of different components and prototypes till we got to the final product that we were happy with and we were sure our consumers would love to.
That's incredible. Of course, it must have been such a long process and definitely worth it. Let's talk more about the health issues that are associated with using regular pads and tampons that include plastic. Are there any? And what are they?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And this is something that we're actively trying to create awareness about at Plastfree. So you see, the most of the conventional plastic period products, they contain chemicals, perfumes, and dyes. This can cause anything from skin irritation, skin rashes, to infections, UTIs, and sometimes even cervical cancer. A lot of these products actually also contain a chemical called dioxin, which can cause skin darkening, and if used over a longer period of time, can actually lead to some really harmful effects as well. So this is why when we came up with the concept of Plastfree, we did not only want to make it biodegradable, we wanted to make it safe for women to use. So our product is made from organic cotton. They're without any chemicals and perfumes so that women can adopt a healthier lifestyle and make informed choices.
And in terms of other alternatives, I see a lot of things on the market, such as reusable cotton pads that have been going out now. You see them online, and brands are making these as well as the underwear that absorb everything. What would you say about that also as an alternative? Do you have any personal experience with that?
Personally, I do not have any experience with that. I've always used a sanitary pad. I've never even really tried tampons. I have been interested in trying menstrual cups, but time will tell. I'm pretty comfortable with sanitary pads at the moment. And talking about the whole concept of alternative products, see, for us as a sustainable business, what matters is not just our product. We want to see a shift in consumer mindset. Once people are aware of the harmful effects of the conventional products that are out there, they will make informed and more healthier decisions. So it can be anything that they are comfortable to use, ranging from plastic-free sanitary pads to those reusable menstrual cups and the reusable underwear.
Considering that this is a sustainable product, how is it different, or how is it better for the environment?
Hilmarie, we discussed earlier about how conventional plastic period products do not really decompose or biodegrade in landfills, and they are going to continue to be on the earth for 500 to 800 years. So imagine a product that you use today will be there long after you're no longer on this planet, right? What happens with Plastfree products is that our products will completely biodegrade in warm and humid conditions in the landfills. So it's absolutely biodegradable, and this will happen in a period span of around 2 years.
Let's just shift gears a little bit and let's talk about periods. As many topics related to issues concerning women, this has always been a taboo one. And we know that girls have often to hide their pads or their sanitary products in fear of bullying or embarrassment, and so many other silly scenarios. How do you think we can handle this issue?
Oh, yes. Menstrual hygiene is still an issue today in the 21st century, and we realize there is still a taboo regarding the subject across the world. In my opinion, begin by the simplest step, which is just talking about it. We have to realize that menstruation is a natural bodily function. And the key word here being natural. So, with some level of discussion, conversation, and education, we can help in tackling this taboo around the subject. I'll tell you from my experience, coming from a background, I'm an Indian, and we do not really talk freely about this subject with our parents and our in-laws. When I was starting this business, just sitting around explaining to them that this is something I want to do, I was hesitant. And this speaks about the taboo that exists around this topic, right? And even they were probably hesitant to just listen to it. Okay, from everything that you could do, like this is what you're choosing to do. And cut to now, during this journey, it's been a little less than a year, and both in-laws and my parents, we can sit about this and talk about this. We have an open communication. So I feel at some level, we are easing this communication, easing this taboo. And this just begins with communication.
As with many things, right? To have open communication does improve things.
Absolutely. And even just taking my own personal experience with being in school and being on my period, and it's always something that you feel shy to ask to go to the bathroom multiple times throughout the day because you're worried maybe people will start to notice or think that it's something else. And it's why is that even a thing that's on a young girl's mind? You know, we should be comfortable with it and accepting. Like you said, it's such a natural thing. So if you could give some advice to perhaps other moms out there in terms of what they should be teaching their girls and at what age they should start implementing the concept of periods, what would you suggest?
When we were talking about breaking the taboo, right? This is what we were speaking about. The onus should not lie just with the mothers to talk to their daughters about this. I feel, if possible, both set of parents should sit down with their children and talk to them about this process. If you have boys, educate them too, make them aware too, because this is a very natural bodily function. The moment there is an honest and open communication about this between the parents and the child, I feel everything gets so much easier. Coming back to your question, nowadays, the average age for girls to start menstruating is about 12 years. I will talk a little about my own experience here. When I was growing up, my mother did not really have this conversation with me. Whatever I knew about periods was from my friends. And when I did get my periods, I was so scared and worried. My mother did explain things then. She told me how to use the products. But looking back at that experience, coming from there, I feel it is so important to have this talk much earlier to make the children aware about their body and make them realize this is normal. This is just a part of growing up.
Very, very good. And I absolutely agree with you that having both parents on the same page will make it a lot easier as well to tackle this topic.
Often the dads never want to know more about it, also because they were raised that's a women's issue and that's something for the women to deal with. My dad's always been very supportive in terms of it, and it was never something. I mean, he has 2 girls. So for him, I guess it became a normal, but I guess in a family where maybe you have a mix or you only have boys, like this is just not even a conversation.
Like I was saying, I probably never had this conversation with my dad till before I was actually telling him, I'm starting this business. I'm sitting there talking about it, that I'm going to start a business about feminine hygiene products. It was difficult. And you're completely right. This is where this comes from. I really believe if we can normalize this situation, I think everything is going to get so much better.
So it's a fantastic concept. Doing something that's sustainable is excellent for the environment and for our planet. But looking from a business perspective, have you had any challenges, or I guess you have? What were they?
Yes, definitely. So first and foremost, the challenge has always been about creating awareness. Most of the people are not even aware about the harmful effects of the conventional sanitary pads they're using, right? So I feel even if you in the beginning do not want to do it for the environment and for the planet, how about start doing something for yourself, right? Women do so much for everyone else around them. I really want them to understand how adopting healthier lifestyle in the long run can be so much better for them. So this was a challenge, and I feel still a challenge, and how we were mentioning even the taboo around this subject. So just bringing up this topic and talking about this. So I'm so glad to be getting this platform today so that we can continue to raise this awareness.
Incredible. And I'm excited to see the future with more businesses going sustainable and exploring more sustainable options. And speaking of the future, what are some of your future goals for Plastfree?
Right. So we started Plastfree with a vision to make it affordable and accessible to all. We have met our affordability criteria. Our price point is quite affordable. In terms of accessibility, I feel we still have a very long way to go. Currently, we are available on Amazon, in a few organic stores, in some supermarkets, and in some sustainable e-commerce platforms. However, my aim is to make Plastfree available in all the leading supermarket chains in the UAE. Having said that, not just the UAE, I would like to expand to the Gulf region as well. And most importantly, our future plans also include increasing the consumer awareness about the feminine hygiene products and the various other sustainable options that exist in the market.
I'm excited to see this happen. And obviously, thank you for, being so open about this conversation and coming on here. But we're not done. We've actually come to the segment of our show where we will each ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, great. So, Rika, do you prefer to use tampons or pads, and why?
I prefer to use pads because that's what I've used my entire life and I'm comfortable with. Having said that, at some time down in the future, I would probably like to experiment with menstrual cups as well.
What did you want to be when you were little?
I always wanted to do a business. Like I mentioned, my father has been my role model. I don't know, I had this whole career path mapped out. I knew I wanted to, in my graduation, do business studies and then do my postgrads in business and start my own business. And here I am.
So your dad is an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
So early on, you mentioned that you joined the family business after college. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, sure. So our business is to do with leather industrial safety products. We export to various countries in the Europe. That's what we do. I love doing that with my dad. But like I mentioned, I moved here to the UAE and then it just wasn't possible to continue doing that.
So you had a good foundation in business having learned from your dad. That's excellent.
Definitely.
That's very rare that when you're young and you imagine something for yourself when you're older and you actually stick with that choice. A lot of the times kids want to be something completely different when they're younger. And then once they grow up, they realize that's not really the path that they're interested in. That's pretty cool that you've always knew and achieved your goals. So what would you say is your ultimate period comfort food?
Desserts, any kind of chocolate desserts. My husband knows not to say anything during that time. I can be ordering any number of desserts.
So what is one thing you do every day, no matter how busy you are?
I actually meditate every day. This is something I do without fail because I need to start my day off like that. It helps me center myself. I start my day with a lot of positive energy that way.
Oh, that's excellent. Before we wrap up, we would like to do our green pill moment. So for our green pill moment, we'd like to ask you, what green pill advice would you give to your younger self?
The advice I would like to tell my younger self is not to be afraid of taking risks or of failure. And if you're passionate about something, do not second guess yourself. Just believe in yourself and everything will fall into place.
That's very good advice.
Brilliant. That's really great advice. Yeah, very, very good.
Thank you. I am a very cautious person. So I believe I need to keep telling myself this, that I need to be out there and take risks, which is why I would like to tell this to my younger self as well.
Well, self-affirmation is so important. And I feel like if more people did that, then we would be so much more confident in ourselves and be able to love ourselves more. So I love that you do that. Yeah, thank you for sharing. You're very real and it's a really great concept, and your entrepreneurial journey is so inspiring as well. Of our audience is going to enjoy this conversation. So yeah, thank you for that. And just before we say goodbye, if you could just share your social media handles so that we'll make sure to put that in our show notes.
So our Instagram handle is Plastfree which is Plastfree and our website is www.plastfree.ae.
So thank you again for coming and joining us today. It's been an excellent conversation, an important one, as we've mentioned throughout. And we wish you and Plastfree all the very best.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.